The film begins with the fact that for several years the demon White Snake has been meditating in a magical garden to cope with the emptiness inside himself. Her sister the Green Snake distracted her from meditation. The White Snake told her that she was meditating on purpose because she had lost all her memories, and then the Green Snake gave her her jade hairpin, with which she could regain her knowledge. 500 years ago, the world was in chaos and ruled by demons and monsters. There was an emperor in the world who was obsessed with immortality, but the Lord of the Great End let him down and the emperor was furious. The Supreme Taoist ordered people to catch snakes for him in order to strengthen his power and return the favor of the emperor. And then one day the warriors were able to catch the women who were snakes to bring them to the Supreme Taoist. One of the women was a white snake. He was able to break away from all the women and hide. She quickly changed her clothes and went up to the building where she was able to destroy all the guards. She was able to make a hole in the wall and was able to watch as the emperor took strength from the snakes to become stronger. The White Snake took out her hairpin and with the help of magic tried to stick this hairpin into the emperor, but the emperor noticed it and was able to stop the hairpin. After that, the guards immediately attacked her. The alarm was announced and all the warriors went to the White Snake to catch her. Meanwhile, the White Snake was fighting with the emperor's assistant. The enemy's magic was stronger than her and the enemy was able to win. The White Snake was thrown into the water due to the shock wave. The White Snake woke up in some house. She jumped up and tried to hide because she thought she was being held hostage by the emperor, but suddenly some grandmother came into the house and she was able to find her. The grandmother said that her grandson Xuan had brought her here. The White Snake tried to remember at least something, but she couldn't do it. She didn't even remember her name. Grandma showed the guests their village. The White Snake came to the gate of this village. All the residents had already entered and they were just starting to close. The gate was almost closed when suddenly someone caught on the gate and was able to jump into the village. He fell clumsily and started knocking down everything in his path. It was the same guy named Xuan. In this village, the inhabitants were engaged in catching snakes, and with the help of this they earned a living. Xuan was very much afraid of snakes and therefore always came from hunting without catching anything. The White Snake saw the warehouse where the snakes were lying and suddenly she felt sick. Xuan approached her and said that tomorrow he would take her to the place where he found her. Maybe she could remember something. The next day came and Xuan and the dog went to show the place where they found the White Snake. Xuan told why they were collecting snakes. Taxes were growing in the country and the Supreme Taoist allowed them to use snakes for tax deduction. While he was telling this, his dog suddenly broke and fell. Xuan thought that the dog would die, but the White Snake was able to save him with the help of magic. She handed the dog to Xuan and went jumping on the rocks, and Xuan climbed after her. She climbed to the top of the mountain and a beautiful view of the whole village opened up in front of her. Xuan's house stood on this peak. He dreamed of becoming a doctor and earning money from it, and not catching snakes in order to somehow survive. Xuan showed a waterfall in which he found her half lying in the water, and suddenly a part of her memories came back to her, in which she saw her sister trying to convince a White Snake to kill the emperor. She was interrupted by Xuan and she accidentally pushed him off the mountain, but she was able to enchant his umbrella and he was able to fly. Xuan took by the hand of the White Snake and they flew together to look at the beautiful views of nature. Xuan showed her all the most beautiful places and she liked them. They landed unsuccessfully and Xuan almost fell, catching on her jade hairpin at the last moment. The White Snake tried to save him, but when she touched the hairpin, she saw another part memories and fell unconscious from the mountain. Xuan was able to find her and was about to approach when suddenly he saw the warriors who were standing around her and who said that she was trying to kill the emperor. Xuan was able to scatter them around and take the White Snake. The White Snake woke up and Xuan handed her a jade hairpin. The White Snake told her that she did not remember how to use this hairpin. Xuan suggested that she go to the jade shop where this hairpin was created. Suddenly they saw a lot of warriors approaching their village to catch a White Snake. The warriors entered the village and a huge tree came after them, the head monster. The residents were very scared. One of the emperor's assistants asked if there was a White Snake here, and in order to scare everyone, he took a child hostage. The residents said that the White Widow was in the village and all the warriors went to look for her. At that time, there was a den of snakes somewhere in the cave. A scout snake crawled into this cave, who said that he saw a White Snake and that she attacked him. The head of all the snakes came out. She possessed strong magic. All the snakes thought that the White Snake was a traitor. But suddenly the sister of the White Snake appeared. It was the Green Snake and she asked for 3 days to find the White Snake. The head cast a spell that would kill her if he did not find the white snake, and she went in search. Meanwhile, Xuan and the white snake escaped from the village and sailed along a mountain river. The white snake, with the help of magic, taught the dog to speak, when suddenly they got into a strong current that soon ended. Suddenly some boat floated out on them in which an unknown person was sitting. Suddenly he turned into a snake and attacked their boat, trying to destroy them. It was the assistant to the head of all the snakes. She sent him to destroy the white snake, but the white snake was also able to turn into a snake and cut the villain into pieces. She fell from powerlessness, and Xuan dragged her to the nearest house where he built a fire to warm her, and together with the dog they hugged her to speed up the warming process. The white snake woke up. She thought Xuan ran away when he saw her turn into a snake, but no. They were walking through the forest and came to a house where magic weapons were made. They were met by a girl who could change her face between human and fox. The white snake wanted to find out what a jade hairpin was. They went into a special room, but it was an unusual room. They stood on a platform, and this platform turned 180 degrees, and they got into a room in which jade weapons were made. The girl took the hairpin and said that it was a very powerful weapon. The girl also said that she had already seen a white snake in this workshop, but the white snake did not remember anything. Xuan asked how to find the original owner of this hairpin, and the girl took out a stone from the box. It was a snake scale that was supposed to help them find the owner. They were already walking through the forest and discussing the scales that the girl gave them. Suddenly a snake appeared in front of them that turned into a man. It was Xuan. Xuan saw how Xuan had a weapon with which to catch snakes, and she attacked him, but the white snake protected him. The white snake remembered Xuan and she hugged her. She also remembered that her name was Xuan and told that the master gave Xiaobai a hairpin to kill the emperor. She reminded Xiaobai that the emperor catches snakes that were in the Xuan clan and kills them. Xuan hated people because they were all dishonest and attacked Xuan again. She threw him off a cliff, but Xiaobai was able to catch him at the last moment. Xuan turned into a snake and tried to kill him again, but Xiaobai and Xuan were able to escape into a secret passage that they never knew about. They entered the room when suddenly Xiaobai grabbed the monster and tried to kill her with an eruption of fire from his mouth, but Xuan was able to save her, and they ran into another room in which Xiaobai returned all the other memories. She remembered everything. Xiaobai told Xuan that she saw in her vision how all the demons would die, but Xuan calmed her down and Xiaobai kissed for the first time in her life. They were able to get out of the secret room, and Xuan was already waiting for them, and Xiaobai said that she would go with Xuan since she was a demon and Xuan was an ordinary person. Xuan was very upset and hugged her for the last time and said that he would find her again. They broke up and Xiaobai began to miss Xuan. Suddenly Xuan began to feel pain in her chest. It was the same curse that her master had put on her. Xuan said that the master had put a curse on her and it would work if she did not bring Xiaobai to her. Meanwhile, Xuan came to the workshop where weapons were made. He asked the girl to turn him into a demon so that he could continue to spend time with Xiaobai, but for this he would have to give his essence. Xuan agreed anyway, and he was turned into a demon, and he woke up somewhere in the forest. Now he had a tail, and now he could move quickly. At the same time, Xiaobai and Xuan were in the tower, when suddenly the emperor's assistant burst in with his three-headed animal and attacked them, but the sisters were able to destroy his big animal, and now only the villain himself remained. He could shoot very thin charges from which it was difficult to dodge. He was able to grab them with the help of his magic. Xiaobai took the hairpin, but Xiaobai was able to get out and took the hairpin along with the villain's power. Meanwhile, Xuan ran across the roofs of the city to find Xiaobai, but when he arrived at the place, he saw that everything around was destroyed, and the villain was lying exhausted on the ground. He ran into the city where the entire building was destroyed. People were fleeing from the city in a panic, and Xuan was trying to find Xiaobai to tell him that he was now a demon. Suddenly a huge white snake climbed out on him. It was Xiaobai, and she finally turned into a snake after she took the power of the villain. She saw that she had destroyed everything and disappeared. Xuan said that when the villain grabbed her hairpin, Xiaobai took all his strength and turned into a huge snake. Xuan said that Xiaobai went to the emperor to destroy him. At the same time, many ships of the emperor sailed up to the village of the snake catchers to destroy all the snakes. Xuan tried to warn all the inhabitants, but no one listened to him. It was too late to warn when suddenly many soldiers came to their village together with the emperor. The emperor went out to the people and grabbed Xuan. But Xuan warned the emperor that to the village a huge snake is approaching that wants to destroy the emperor and said that he could stop it. The emperor let him go and Xuan ran to the mountain where Xiaobai was already crawling. He tried to stop her and told her that he had turned into a demon on purpose to be with her now. Suddenly someone attacked him. It was an emperor's trap from which it was impossible to get out. This trap took away the life force. By this time, a master came out who stuck a hairpin into him and a battle began between them. The white snake was able to break the trap and get out and tried to attack the emperor, but the emperor was able to grab the snake with his magic. Then Xiao Qin was able to sneak behind the emperor and stick a hairpin into him. The emperor was defeated, and the master took away his power. The master came to kill the emperor's warriors and people with them, since people were hunting ordinary snakes, but Xian helped people. The master grabbed Xiao Qin and started taking her power. The white dragon saw it and tried to attack, but the master summoned a huge and powerful dragon, and now the white dragon had to fight him. The evil dragon was able to grab the white dragon and began to drain the power from it, and the white dragon turned back into Xiao Bai, but Xian was able to save her death. Suddenly, the emperor was able to recover for a few seconds and activated the trap once again, in which Xiao Bai and Xian and the evil dragon were. The evil dragon turned into ice, and Xiao Bai and Xian were already preparing for death. They remembered all the best moments that were between them. Xian heard someone trying to help them and wanted to tell Xian, but when she turned to him, she saw that he also turned into ice and began to disappear. Xiao Bai was able to keep all the memories with Xian in a hairpin. The villagers broke the trap, but it was too late. It had been a long time, and Xian and Xiao Bang lived together in Xiao Bai's memories.